Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to this special interview that we are conducting here at the International Book Fair in Algiers. We have the privilege of sitting with one of the pioneers and most known figures in the world of cinema in Algeria. He is a writer, producer, and film critic. Please, dear viewers, welcome with me Professor Ahmed Bejaoui. Hello and welcome, sir.
Welcome to you,
Sir.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome, sir. Let's delve into discussion. Algeria is celebrating its 69th anniversary of the Liberation War. And you have some works that link the cinema to the Algerian Revolution. How do you think the cinematic image take part in the Algerian Revolution? And generally speaking, how did the cinematic works influence liberation movements across Africa and the Third World?
Well, first of all, I devoted a whole book on this matter, a book which was called Algerian Cinema and the War for Independence. It was published in French, in Arabic, but also in at the States, at Belgrade Macmillan in English. It was Cinema and Algerian War of Independence. So it was, the most important thing to say about the role of audiovisuals, let's say audiovisuals, during the war, the Liberation War, was that it was the first war in the world, in the history of humanity, that was led and fought and won also by us on the ground of communication. At that time, we talked only about information, but the Algerian strategic man inside the Liberation Front, especially in the Sumam Congress in August '56, decided to publish or to adopt a platform with a number of directions. All these directions were leading to the heart of the public opinion, the international public opinion. The man like prestigious man like Ben Ramdan, who was the man who was the most important figure in the ideology of strategy of communication, diplomacy, and things which were not military. He said at that time, well, okay, we are facing a force which is immense, huge, the French army, backed by the NATO. Sometimes we forget that the NATO was backing France at that time, especially at the beginning of the war. So we have to reverse the look that these people from the European side and American side, the Western world, is directing to us. So we have to penetrate the heart of the public opinion, the international public opinion, because the war is going to be won on this ground. And so just a few weeks, I will not say months, a few weeks after the end of the Sumam Congress, they launched the three version of Al Mujahid, Algerian resistance, in 3 countries, in 3 capitals, and then they collected and they gathered all these versions into one Al Mujahid. After the print press, the radio, it was the visuals. The visuals, they created in '57 a school of cinema. Imagine that at that time we were not free, and Mahmoud Gennaz, the commander Mahmoud Gennaz, was leading a school of cinema school, and they trained 12 cameramen. And the trainers were René Vautier, and other people who went to Tunis to join the Liberation Army.
Excuse me to interrupt you. After the independence, let's move to after the or the post-independence era. Algerian cinema has also laid foundations for new cinematic works that reflect the reality of the newly independent nations. So, how much this significant, according to your own perspective?
You know, if compared to 4 or 5 documentary films that were made during the war for liberation, between 57 and 62, 2 of them were screened at the General Assembly of the UN, and they had an immense impact on the resolution that recommended the liberation for all the people who were under the colonial rule. Compared to the productions with big budgets, I mean, these 4 or 5 films like Yasmina, Jazairuna, Les Fusils de la Liberté, إلى آخره, all these films had a much more important impact than the films that were made after. Why? To my sense, to my opinion, the films which were made in the 60s and the 70s on the theme of and focused on the war of liberation, except the film by Lakhdar Hamina, the Chronicle of the Years of Amber, which won the, as you know, the Palme d'Or in Cannes, in Cannes Festival. Most of these films had bad budget, very, very important budgets, but they were too much heroic and too much spectacular. We had to wait for the film by Lakhdar Hamina to try to explain the sources of the revolution. I mean, you have to go back to the national movement, the national political movement, and how it was structured. November 54 was not the fact of hazard, or it was the continuation, the result of many things. So, for me, the war of liberation is still waiting for other films which should explain why these young people had decided to sacrifice their lives in order to free the country. We find this sort of films at the Algerian TV, yes, like Noua, for example, like Les Enfants de Novembre, Abna November by Moussa Haddad, but not very much in this cinema sector.
You have been film critic for many years, and you have built a strong fan base. How do you think the art of film criticism develop, and how do you maintain a thoughtful approach to film criticism in your reviews?
I had 2 careers, one of film critic in the print press. But at the television I was an analyst, I was not a film critic. I was sharing my love for a number of films with the public, with the audience. It's very different. So I continued writing for cinema, on films, but starting with the beginning of the millennium, I started writing books instead of writing chronicles.
Mm-hmm. According to your point of view, how the role, or what does the role of film criticism play influence in the film industry? How people consume that film?
There was a golden age for film criticism in the 60s, 50s and 60s, like Les Cahiers du Cinéma, for example. Most of the directors of the French cinema came from the criticism, from this review, and they had an impact. But now the industry is based on the market and on the number of entries. More than, I mean, you can write anything, but you don't have the same impact as in the past.
Mm-hmm. In the era of social media and instant reactions, how do you view the future of film criticism in an ever-evolving media landscape?
Look, as I told you, I was sharing the love for cinema, and I consider myself as a cinema lover. The solution is within the cine clubs, the clubs for cinema, the people, the young people who are now building an audience inside their cities, inside their suburbs, and the more these clubs are spreading, the more we can expect that the love for cinema is being restored. We have to restore the cinephily through the cine clubs. And then from the ranks of these people who are lovers, we will have a new generation of filmmakers.
Internationally speaking, when we talk, for example, about Hollywood, we know that Hollywood is a trailblazer in this field, and it has a rich history in filmmaking. Many Hollywood films are adaptations of books, since we are in the International Book Fair, comics or other source materials. How do you evaluate the success of these adaptations, especially when we compare to the original ones?
Yes, I devoted recently in this fair, I have a book on the writers, especially Scott Fitzgerald, Faulkner, and Hemingway, their experience as script writers in Hollywood. Hollywood, it has two faces. The face of the people who want to elevate the level, the critical and the aesthetic level of cinema. The writers, the filmmakers, they are fighting for that, and the producers who are only seeking for the income of a film. And this is a conflict which has always been invading the world of Hollywood. Sometimes you can have people, we had generations of great authors, great filmmakers like Elia Kazan, but now again we have people who are also honest and committed to humanity. We have many filmmakers in America who are leftist, who try to, for example, they fought against the war in Vietnam, the American intervention in Vietnam. Some of them had made film against the American intervention in Iraq, for example. I think. But you have always this duality. The dream, the American dream, which Hollywood is trying to promote and to sell, and on the other side, people who are intellectuals, artists, who try to be honest with their audience.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed Bejaoui, for sharing your fruitful information and expertise with us. And thank you so much, dear viewers, for watching us. Stay tuned to our channel, All 24 News. Bye for now.